What is up, YouTube? It's Cordless, Cord Campbell, coding with Cord, working on Meta again today. And I haven't edited my. I forgot to edit my my things. Oh, this is my dog. This is my hair last year. This is my hair this year. So this is like a year ago or something like that. And the dog. Anyway, it's COVID hair. I'm just gonna have to deal with it. Okay, so I thought I had episode 7. Oh man, I was helping my daughter move today, and so I haven't prepared. I haven't prepared for this. I thought that I had. Well, I can just go do it live, I think. So if it doesn't work out, well, I'll start the stream over. So I am going to finish up the upload methods. So this is day 7. I'm sorry I'm doing this on stream. It's probably just horribly boring. Don't leave. There's no one watching. It's just me. So day 7. So what we're going to do is try to finish up on the API methods. That's it. And then let's see what here. Let's see. So episode and day today we're going to finish up the work we started on the crawl methods. I'll go through how I fixed the crawler to upload to the site for storage, which I will do. Alright, I'm going to take that out of the description because that's silly. Okay, so the only other thing I need to do, well, I kind of need to do the image, but whatever, it doesn't matter. I'll fix the image after the stream. I'm not going to chew up the stream doing that. It's already 2 minutes and 34 seconds of me farting around, so I'm going to get into it. So let's take a look at the APIs. Whoops. Oh look, Google indexed us. That's great. Okay, so this is, maybe I'll take a look. I edited the API docs today a little bit. I cleaned them up a little bit. Made them a little bit more sane. So talk a little bit about this. So I wrote this document. So what I did is I prototyped Meta. It barely functioned. I prototyped it. It kind of sort of worked, like all of the viewing of images in the browser and stuff. It's all very horrible. But I got authentication working, logins working, which that was the critical part, and I got that nailed down. It's pretty good authentication stuff, which I will be open sourcing and putting into Grub at some point. If you don't know about Grub, watch a previous episode or just Google Grub. It's a crawler that I came up with a while back, and I'm bringing it back because Meta needs a crawler. And so in a previous episode, in the last episode, episode 6, I guess, we were working on the crawl APIs. And what this does is there's a box, a series of boxes that are behind the load balancer on Google. They go and crawl the internet, and what they do is actually image a website. So they image, you give it a URL, so you pass it a URL and your token on the site, so you have to have an account, you have to grab your token. And then you do a post to /g on meta.us/g, and then what happens is it takes the URL that you pass it, and then it goes and snapshots that. And so I'm just going to show you exactly what it does right now, because it should work, in theory. So there's the query. I hope that's big enough. I'll check out the video. The last video quality is pretty poor, but I don't really know what to do with it, so I'm tweaking it. My son's helping me with it, Connor. So well, it'll get better over time. So by the time we hit episode 25, it'll be fine. I figure that it'll probably be 100 episodes before we get done. So this is episode 7, so almost 10% done. It's like an upload. I'm uploading my brain into the internet with this thing. So so we're going to do a post. So if we look at the example here, you're supposed to do a post to /g, and then you're supposed to pass it your token and your URL. All right, so that's what I'm doing here. So here's the token, and here's the URL. You can see that there, and I'm telling it to image news.google.com. So that's just my default one that I go to, and then doing a post to meta.us/g. So I'm going to hit enter on that, and you can see it came back just like that. And if you were watching in the previous episode, it was taking like 10-15 seconds or something like that, and then it was timing out. And then once I got more of the code done today, it was like giving me errors from the load balancer on Google, and so it was not great. What happens here is it returns this spool, and actually I'm just going to take this thing while I'm at it, and I'm going to go, and that did not copy that, because this is control insert on this program. That's what's copy is control insert on there. Okay, so then I'm going to go here. This is it. Yes, yes. Okay, that's a real response. All right, I'm going to save that, and then I'm going to reload it. There you go. So that's a real response, pretty darn close to what I wrote. So whenever I did prototype the site, I didn't do it the way that it should be done. I had this ticket in GitHub for the longest time on like architect the APIs. That was the ticket. And then I just kept putting it off and putting it off because I was getting stuff done. But then I got to this point where it was like, well, I needed it to do this thing, which was basically it needed to be able to crawl the image and then send it off to a machine learning system. But then the crawler would like block, which is what we were seeing in the last episode. And then I didn't have a way to actually upload the image. So what was happening was I would tell it to crawl, and then it would return the file name to me, and then I would have to take AppEngine and go out and grab the picture from the server and pull it back. And then whenever this WebDriver stuff fires up, well, I mean, it takes a lot of CPU. I'm firing up a full version of Firefox and tearing it down in like 15 seconds. So it's pretty intensive on the box. I mean, it's not that big of a deal if you run a bunch of preemptible instances. It's not that costly, but it is an intensive process, and it was blocking, and it wasn't scalable, and so we handled the scalability issue in like episode 5, but then the problem was that I still had it saving it to the local drive on the box, and then we can take a look at the box here. This is the box. So it's got like I think it's got like a 10 gig hard drive on it, 100 gig. I made them 100 gig because I figure there's no way in a day it'll fill up. I mean, famous last words, right? But this box will die within the day. So when I get up in the morning or sometime tomorrow, this will be a different box. And the reason it'll be a different box is because Google's going to kill it because it's preemptible. And then what's going to happen is the managed instance group is going to fire up and say, oh, there's not a box running, I need to run a box. And right now I'm just running one because there's no sense in paying more than $30 or so. I'm paying like $30 for this instance. And it's a medium-sized instance, so once I go into production, I'll make it a little bit bigger. But the whole idea is this is front-ended with a load balancer, which I set up in the previous episode. And so if you, or maybe it was the episode before last, I can't remember, it's either 5 or 6. And so if I were to go out and ask the load balancer for the image, if I made a call to this box and I said go crawl a website, and then it did that and saved it to the hard drive, and there's like 4 of these boxes or 3 of these boxes or whatever running, and I say go crawl this website, well, the image is only going to be on one box. And so if I hit the load balancer to go ask for the image, well, then it could ask for it from another box, and then it's not going to be found, right? So that didn't work. And then there was the second problem, was that it was blocking. And so this is what I did to fix it. So this is the Grub code. If you're interested in looking at the Grub code, you can go to GitHub. Grub right here. You can go to this URL right here. This is Grub 2.0. Eventually, this will be a fully baked out crawler for AI. So it's a machine learning crawler. That's what it is. So it's supposed to be a crawler for machine learning, but also powered by machine learning. So if a machine, like some AI, wants to crawl the internet and find something, it can use this system to go out and do that. And while I wasn't thinking about machine learning 17 years ago when I came up with Grub, this is pretty close to what I envisioned now. Like the way that I've laid this out, if you'll read the description, is pretty much very close to what I originally came up with for the idea, which is that ideally we use humans to crawl. So the humans are the crawlers. And in this case, what Meta does is it just takes URLs from the users, the humans, and then it passes it off. It goes and grabs it, images a website, and then it passes it into the machine learning libraries. And eventually those will be able to learn how to crawl more sites based on the input that the humans are giving it. But we're a long ways away from that because we have to get a bunch of humans using it first before we can get to that. And eventually we will get to that. But for now, we have to have something that the humans want to use it for. And the whole idea for using Meta and watching this video, if you are watching it, is to get people interested in saving things that they find online, or saving images that they find online, and then allowing those machine learning libraries to contribute some information to those documents that they're finding. So it's kind of like a document management system. It's kind of like a bookmarking system. It's kind of like sort of like Google a little bit. It's a Google competitor in a way. And there aren't very many Google competitors, I guess. And so whatever, I'm crazy enough to try it. So here we are. Okay, so we've got this. This is an actual response coming back, and I'm going to finish my thought, which is when you're writing API docs, the whole idea is that you kind of have an idea what you're going to do, but the API docs, once they're written and they're written well, and they actually do what they say, they define the system architecture. They're just a way to define system architecture without actually having to write a system architecture document. You just write the documentation. And if you do it right, you can actually use it as a means to get things done. And that's what I'm doing, because I'm doing this by myself. I have a bunch of tickets in GitHub, but I really don't need I can spend a lot of time creating tickets and closing tickets, but I really don't need the tickets because it's all up here. And so if I get into a proper workflow, I won't have to, I have the tickets, so every once in a while I can go back to them, but I won't have to work from them every day, is the point. And what I can do is just sit down and code. And so what I did initially was, had this idea, okay, what does it look like in code? I wrote that. Then, what should it look like architecturally? Well, I could draw a bunch of diagrams, or I could write documents or whatever, or I could just write documentation. So that's what I did. So I wrote the documentation. And then when you're writing the documentation, if you'll put the method, if you put what they are, so you list out the method. So this is everything that Meta does. So these 6 methods basically constitute the entirety of what Meta does, except for the Slack bot and the SMS bot and the shell UI. all of this stuff allows you to interact with meta in a way that will allow you to do what the site promises you can do with it, which is save and search images and websites and free text. And it is essentially ends up being a front end for Solr. So you end up being able to do searches to meta that you could do with Solr. But it's a way to get the documents in there, which is sort of the hard part if you've ever messed around with search. So in this case, running through these methods, I'd gotten to the crawl method and I had written this, and then all of a sudden now, well, that's what it returns. So at that point, once you've written the code to do that, you're kind of done with this particular part. And so I've got done with that, but the problem is that crawl also uses upload. And so upload needed to be done a little bit too, so that's what we did in the last episode and the last day. But one of the things that needed to happen was a bunch of parts needed to move around, and in particular in the Grub server, which we're taking a look at here, I've simplified it down to where the call that goes from AppEngine out to the Grub server is what it essentially is a thin wrapper for a popen process. And before I think it was like expect return result return or something like that. It's basically a sub process. I don't remember what it's called. Let's go look. It's here. Let's see here, history, and then I don't know. I'll go back to like a couple days ago. Click on Grub. So it's check output. So the sub-process thing that I was using is check output. So that fires up a thread, threads it off from the main Python process, and then it checks the output once it finishes. And well, that's a blocking call. So that meant that whenever it got down to check output here, when I was calling Python and browser session, well, then it would just block and it would wait for it. And because browser session, if we go look at that, because browser session basically actually connects to the port that is running Selenium. I think that's right. I'm not 100% certain because I didn't write all of this code. I had Joe wrote a big chunk of this code. Well, he wrote the wrapper for this, and he found this project from somebody else. So that's sort of the I'm hand waving here, but basically there's a process running on this box that is running Selenium or WebDriver, and it fires up Firefox ESR. It fires up Firefox, and then it tells Firefox to take a full screenshot of it, and then it saves it to the drive, and that's where it does it down here. And so what needed to happen here was either I needed to be able to have a way to wait around for that response, which is not great because if somebody's making a call to your API and you make them wait 18 seconds, all sorts of stuff can happen. Or I just needed to be able to exit quickly and just give them, hey, here's something that happened. Go come back later and check. And that's really what you want here, is to be able to say to the thread that you're starting, and I changed this to popen because that's non-blocking. It'll just fork it off and run it. And what happens is it'll fire up this browser session, then it creates a Firefox instance, then it passes it the URL, and it passes it the upload URL, which is the target on Meta. If we look at the APIs here, this is this spool, like so post it, this call right here. And then that's the address or the URL of what it should be posting to, and then the API token for the user. And so I ended up just moving the entirety of what I changed to this. You can go look at all the code changes if you're interested in it, but this is what I did. And admittedly, some of this is pretty hackish. I do have some checks in Meta, both Meta, and I think I added some stupid checks here. Yeah, so I basically don't allow any quotes in the URL. So if somebody tries to use quotes in the URL, it's not going to work. Admittedly, this is probably not the most secure way to do this, but because I'm running popen on a box, but the box has no permissions. The box, if you pass a token with it, you're passing your own token, so you already know your token, so that's not at risk. Potentially, there could be a bunch of images of a bunch of websites on the box. And maybe if you gain access to the box, you might be able to monitor other people's tokens coming in. So the worst case would be like we would be leaking other people's tokens because somebody would gain access to this box, but they would have to gain access individually to each separate Grub server, and eventually there'll be tens of these things running, or maybe hundreds. And so at some point that needs to be fixed. So that's sort of the security problem with it, is that you're allowing someone to send a URL and an upload URL and a token in, and you're trusting that that data is good, so that needs to be sanitized and needs to be monitored because it's ending up running a popen process on the box. Okay. So, you know, like, I mean, one thing that you could think about here is that you could put I don't know what you can do to popen, but we need to figure out what you can do to popen. You might be able to put a semicolon and then shell out or something like that. There's probably all sorts of horrible things that can happen. So if you know about the horrible things that can happen, well, let me know. Put it in the comments. I mean, I don't care. I mean, nobody's using this right now, so better we find out now than later. So I tend to have a tendency to remember security flaws and stuff that I'm building. So like, I know where the security problems are in the stuff that I'm building. It's the problems that you don't know about where you're building that are the real problem. Okay, so by adding the upload URL and the API token and passing that to the browser session, we're able to then do a reverse call back to AppEngine. So AppEngine's calling the Grub box. The Grub box is handling I'm pointing like you can see something here, but I'm just gesticulating, is that you're going to go in and you're going to call this G, well, I say you, but like AppEngine, if you call G on the end of meta.us/G, then AppEngine has a method that handles that. And then it calls /G on the Grub servers. So if you look at this, we're running Grub servers, we're running Solr boxes. Where's the rest of the code running? Well, it's running in AppEngine. So, and you see that guy? He just died. So it should restart here. Like our instance group should restart that. So we'll just watch that and see what happens. We'll come back to that in just a second. And so in the case of this posting to this spool, I needed to write that code. So I think this is it. This is the entirety of the call. That's the stuff I added to the browser session stuff. So the browser session stuff gets forked off, non-blocking, and then this particular Flask application, which has got the same method endpoint, /G, then just runs right through to this and returns a response. So if we go back here and look at this response actually comes from Meta, and that is done here. So here's crawl. Crawl is done now. So this part of the APIs are done, and here's what I'm going to just run through the entirety of this. So you call /G with a post. If you don't call it with a post, it's going to give you an error. If you do a get or a delete or whatever, it's just going to give you an error. And then Flask login is going to say with the class method, right? It's going to say the decorator is the class decorator is going to say you have to have a login. And then the login stuff is here. So it says, okay, well, I need to see it. Where is it? Where is it? Wait, it's not on crawl. No, it's not on crawl. Oh, it's in main. Don't click on config.py. Okay, so yeah, here it is. So when the request is loaded from the login manager, it tries to get a token. If there's no token, it'll try to see if it's being posted in the form. So you can do a post with the request argument, but you can also do it inside the form. So those are the two ways you can do on Meta that you can send a token in. And what happens is here, then you either can call this with your browser, like if you're logged in on the browser, you'll have cookies, so there'll be a session, and this will let you pass, or it'll identify you with the token that you're sending. So that's all handled automatically with this one-liner above crawl. So then the next thing that happens is it gets a timestamp and it formats it, and then it asks if there's a URL in the post, because, well, you got to have a URL, because otherwise if you don't give us a URL, we don't know what to crawl. If there's no URL, then it returns a 500. I don't know. It's not a not found because you're doing a post, so it's actually a server error. The server can't continue, so you return a 500. Otherwise, go and grab with beautiful soup. Go and grab the title, and if there is one, a description. So that's so far that's what has happened. I have a note here that I need to go back and check the existing spools, and you can see here's the URL. So I used to have, I think I probably still have it. Let's see here. Model, spool, document. No, I got rid of it. I used to have a URL. Yeah, I got rid of it. So I used to have a URL model, but because I switched the URLs to using spools, the spools end up serving as a holder for both URLs and images. So you think about it this way, right? Like, I'm going to take a picture of the website for you. You're going to give me a URL. I'm going to snapshot it. It'd be kind of like if you went to it in your browser and then you took a picture of the page, like the full screen snapshot or something, screenshot or something like that, right? That's what I'm doing with the Grub servers. But I'm doing it in a scalable way. So I can scale up as many as I want, and then I make the image, and then I upload the image into AppEngine. Well, so if somebody else wants to image it, that's fine. So it's per user. So you'd want to, if Bob wanted me to image Google News, and then Alice wanted me to image Google News, then I'd want to do that separately for each of them. So each one of them will have their own spool because they'd want to put their own tags on it. These tags are designed to be either from the system at the time of creation. So in this case, I'm crawling a URL, so I'm putting a URL tag in there. But if the user were creating a spool using the upload methods, then they could give me a tag. And they could say, well, this is the tag. And potentially with crawl, I could also take tags from the user, so maybe that's something I'll do later. But then the idea is later, once I have a spool, that I could send it to a machine learning library, to a model, and then the model could add some more tags to it. Now, I haven't gotten to that part, so we'll deal with that later. But the spool itself is not a document. It's not a document yet because it hasn't been sent into the indexer. So the next thing that we'll have to do after finishing up what I'm talking about today is we will have to index those documents, the spools. And then you could also index other things besides spools, but we'll also talk about that later. So at the point that I create the spool, I want to make sure that I don't have a duplicate for it. In other words, if the user's told me, hey, go index Google News, I just want to go see if I already have a spool entry in the NDB database that Google's running for me for that user. If it's for another user, I'll create another spool, it'll have another ID, but in the case of the same user, I want to go back and find it and then use that spool as opposed to creating a new one. So I do need to check that. That'll be something I'll go back and do off stream. So the next thing that needs to be done is a return object values. Return object values needed to be created. Now, I didn't do this in the last episode, but I did it this morning. And this is what ended up being the things that I needed. And you do have to do this in context, client context, which is the NDB client that is connecting to Google, the Google storage stuff. And then what you want to do is you want to you want to do a post to the load balancer that front ends the Grub servers. So for all of the Grub servers, yeah, you see that guy's back up. And it's interesting, it restarted it. Instead of it doing a new one, it just restarted it, which is great. So it was down for a minute, restarted it. Now I can tell that later, hey, do 2, and it'll do that. But in this case, I've only, the minimum's 1, so once it goes down, it just restarts it. It doesn't try to start up 2. And so here is where it's doing that post to the Grub front end. So this config Grub URL, that's the load balancer. And the load balancer shuffles between all the Grub servers. So if there's 100 Grub servers running, it just picks one and sends it to it, and away you go. And then what happens is, we looked at that earlier, is that it does a p open, starts the process, then immediately returns, and that's where it gets the response there. And then what happens is, and here I'm handling any exceptions, and I'm just printing that, so that's probably not a great way of dealing with it. And you'll notice here I'm also not using Grub response currently, because I don't know, I'm not doing any error checking here, so I need to kind of flesh that out a little bit. I'm not going to do that on stream. And then what I do is I make a response, which is an actual response, which has got the timestamp, when it was updated, when the particular spool was updated, the name, upload URL, etc., file names, tags, and file names is empty. And then I return the response, and that's it. And so for the most part, crawl is done. So what we have to do now on stream, and how long have I talked to get to this point? 31 minutes. That's not too bad, actually. At this point now, I need to be able to handle saving the image that is being uploaded from the Grub server. So the Grub server is trying to upload it, and in fact it is uploading it. And then what happens is this upload method is then just sort of, well, I think it's chucking it, because it's right here I'm doing a return. So it's actually chucking the data and not actually doing anything with it. So that's what we're going to do now, is we're going to implement this. And I always get a little nervous because, I mean, I know I can write code, but I always get a little nervous because then it's like, you know, my programming skills are on display for the world, but that's the reason we're doing this. And hey, hell, at least I'm not wearing a mask, right? Okay, so at this point, we don't want to return this anymore. We want to actually deal with the upload. And, oh, you can see here where I say pull the image over. Well, that's because the Grub server used to just return the file name, and then I would have to go back and ask the server, once it replied to me, I would go, oh, why don't you give me the URL, and then I'll save it, and then I would save it into the bucket stuff. Well, I'm not doing that anymore. Okay, so this part right here, that's the thing that we need to be able to run. This is the setup for all of the, this is the setup for the Google Cloud Storage bucket. So it grabs a blob, which you have to give it the file name. Let me think about this. So we will have the file name, right? Actually uploading from browser session. This whole thing's totally hacky. I mean, this is the part of the reason I'm making this open source, is not because I want anybody to fix it for me necessarily, but because, well, I mean, putting it out there kind of puts a little bit of pressure on you to clean it up to where it's, you know, well, passes muster, I guess. You don't want crappy code out on an open source repository, especially if you're bringing back something you created before that was pretty cool. So, so here is where I'm doing, yeah, I'm doing the post, right? And so it says files. So this is request post. So one of the things I ran into is like, well, like, okay, but I want to pass the token as some data. and didn't really figure out how to do that, and ended up just appending the token on the end of this. So I wonder, does it matter what the file name is? It doesn't have to be the same file name, right? It doesn't. It doesn't matter what the file name is. I mean, it could matter what the file name is. I mean, on the Grub box, it's just some random string. It didn't really matter. And whenever, like if full page screenshot inside of Chrome, whenever you, and I don't have that installed here, but whenever you click on that button and then it wants to save it, it saves it with the URL. So it would be kind of nice if I could go and look inside from a human usage perspective. It would be kind of nice to go in and be able to look at the URL, sort of. And then what I'm saying is, like if I were, like if I were doing https news.google.com/ that I'd end up with a file name that would look something like this. I don't know, maybe just one of those. Right? I mean, that'd be kind of nice. But I'd have to write a function to do that. So maybe I'm just gonna, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say to do there. And then instead what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the util RandomString function. I used to have it where you could do lowercase here. I guess it doesn't matter. So random string size, whatever my size is. Okay, so yeah, right, yep. Okay. And then I'm going to say file name equals random string size equals, I don't know, 12, 13. And then all of these are PNGs, so I know that they're going to be a PNG, so this PNG. All right. Again, pretty hacky, but whatever, we'll sort it out. It would be kind of nice to let the Grub box name them, maybe, but I don't think it matters. So I'm not going to sweat it. Okay, so file name, I think it's better to do this so that I have, like maybe the username, maybe the user ID here. The actual user ID goes there, and then the rest of it, or maybe put the user ID on the end of it. I don't know, something along these lines, right? I'll fix that later. Okay. Or maybe I'll hire somebody to fix it later if I manage to get this thing off the ground. Okay, so next I need to, yep. So then I need to do this here. This is just the file name. All right, so that'll set the bucket up. And then I need request image content. I have no idea how to do this. So Flask code for uploading image. Uploading files. Handling file uploads with Flask. Oh, I've been to this guy's site before. So this is Miguel Grinberg's website, miguelgrinberg.com. Thank you, Miguel. There's a little shot of what it looks like. I've been to this site before, so... So then he's going to say AppRoute / upload file equals request files file. Is that how I'm posting it? Let me go here and look at this. Yeah, file. The upload file function is decorated with AppRoute. Okay. It's invoked when it sends a post request. The upload file variable holds the submitted file object. This is an instance of class file storage, which Flask imports from workzug. I guess I don't need anything special there. Just going to handle it, I guess. The file name attribute in file storage provides the file name submitted by the client. Okay. If upload file name is not equal to blah blah blah, upload file save. Well, maybe we do have the file name. I don't know. Maybe it's sending the file name. I don't need it to handle my forms. There's a save method for the uploaded file as well, which we don't want to do. Oh, here you go. Secure file name. I wonder if we can import this from workzug utils. Let's see what it's saying to us about that. Well, we got another error here. It says return outside function, line 65, and upload. That's because I was fiddling around with it. So now we have another error. It says upload handlers create spool. Existing endpoint function. View function mapping is overriding an existing endpoint function. What? No idea what that means. Main line 76. Okay. I didn't even know I'm doing something in main 76. What? Oh, upload handlers. Oh, there's a duplicate. So there's upload, create spool. I have this post. This is for creating the spool. I'm gonna do that. And I don't actually want to do that. I'm just doing that just to see if I can get around this error. Nope. Is it the mapping of? I don't think there's anything down here. I learned my lesson last time about having two spool objects in the methods in the models. So I have upload here, create spool. Oh, I have two create spools. Okay. Who knows? Okay. There we go. All right, now moving on. Okay, that looks good. So I was able to import warts, I guess. So now can I actually make my so I'm going to be doing a post to this. I guess I'll do the right thing and do it. I guess. I didn't really want to, but I guess I will. So I need a get function. So I'm going to copy this class method. This is where I got in trouble last time. Okay, get by spool name is what I want. And I do want the user ID and the name. Yep, user ID and name, that's perfect. So that's the name and the owner. So I'm going to look it up by name and owner. So get by UID spool name. I guess I don't need to say spool because that's the class, right? So I just do that. So it's just get by UID name. Maybe that's what it was called before. Was it? Yeah, it was. Okay, whatever. those are the exact same, that's the exact same code. Whatever. I don't know. I don't know what to do there. You probably do something fancy, but it doesn't matter. It needs to be readable. That's pretty readable. Okay, get by UID name. So I want to, let's see, look up Spool, right? So I'm going to say Spool equals get by UID and name, and then I'm going to say this is the Flask login. Current user UID, comma, spool name. Print spool. Okay. And then I need to, what I really need is I need a way to test this. I don't want to be uploading until I'm ready to upload. So what I need to do is I need some, maybe I do a new file, test upload.py. I'm going to save that, and then I'm going to go to, is that my, oh. I thought I had my thumbnail. I swear I made the 7th thumbnail. I don't know, whatever. Okay, so I want to go to meta.us, yes, okay, and then I want to grab this code right here. And then I need, I don't know what I need of this. I'm just going to copy all of it. That's the upload bits. I don't need WebDriver, traceback, RandomString, base. I don't need any of that stuff. Sit up straight. Posture. Oh. I guess I just need requests. So I'll just leave those in there. Never know. Alright, so then I'm, I just want a test image, so this is just going to be some test image that I'm going to give it. Yep, and then I'm going to do a request post. And then this is going to be what? Localhost plus the token. So this is localhost 8080. This is just for testing. Localhost 8080. Yep. We'll go ahead and put the HTTP on there. And then it'll, so it's going to make that plus a question mark and then the token. Yep. And this is my token. If you like my token, copy it if you like. I mean, you know you're desperate if you're like copying my token. I don't think I copied my token. Let's see here. Control insert. Okay. I'm going to copy the token in there. Okay, that's it. That should do it. And then I've got files, and I don't care what the response is, and there's no file name. And I don't need to return. So now I should be able to run this, test upload.py, and I do need a test image in here, so let me see here. See all my files. Let's take this one right here. Let's take that as the test image. So that's going to go into code. Come on, baby. Oh. Why isn't that open? I don't know. It's not a Mac. Well, we'll upload the dog. That's what we're going to do. So I need to put it in here. And then It's called crazy hair because I have crazy hair. All right. So then I'm going to close that and I'm going to change this to crazy hair. And I don't know, I don't think that's a PNG. It is a PNG. We're in the block. Perfect. Okay, so that's going to upload crazy hair to localhost. Oh, you know what? /u for upload. Yep. That's it. That's it. And now we're going to try to run it and see what happens. So we need to do a Python and then test upload. There we go. And it says the view function did not return a valid result. The function either returned none or ended without a return statement. So it took it. That's great news. So that's our test function. Okay, so I can minimize that because I don't need that anymore. And then this is the upload function. And why did it not? It didn't return a view. It's kind of weird. What does it say here? It says traceback. The view function did not return a valid response. That's interesting. Oh, you know what? I posted it to here. I need a spool name. Well, I need to be able to do the create spool function anyway, so I'm going to work on that now. So I'm switching context. So I also need to check it to see if it exists. So we're going to create a spool. So this is this function here. This one right here creates a new spool. Optionally accepts title, description, and tag parameters. Okay. And then we're going to need the exact same thing here. There's probably a better way to build these return values, but I really don't care. Like, I can read this and understand it, and so it doesn't bother me. The thing is that crawl creates a new spool, so does upload. So I already wrote the code for it, so why not use it? So updated name, upload URL, title, description, tags, file names. In this case, this would be title equals blue, description equals blue, and tags equals blue. And then we need the URL. Yep, and then we need we got URL soup response. think we can leave that blank. That's just coming back from Beautiful Soup when we're doing the crawl. So we're not asking to crawl here, we're asking to create the spool. So this could be like a spool for imagery that the user's uploading to us. This can actually be whatever the user decides. So this could be like there we go. Make it pretty. There we go. Oh, come on. Come on, Sublime. Tell me what else I should use as an editor. I know some people use Atom. I kind of like Sublime. It's okay. It's got a lot of features. Okay, so let's think about this. So I've got my title, I've got my description, I've got my tags, which I will need to load from the request itself here in just a minute. I want to get the spool creation stuff working first. So then I'm going to create a spool. And I have spool up here. No. There we go. And we probably stopped running by now. No, we haven't. That's cool. Okay, so yep, that looks good. So then what happens is Spool will give us the name. And it will give us the upload URL. Excuse me. And then does Spool automatically file names? Yep, right there. So it'll just be empty there for file names. Okay. So let's make this call and see what it does. So we need, this is going to be the /u, and then we've already got all this stuff hacked up. Well, actually, the token. Control insert. Oops. And then I'm going to get rid of the post data section. And we're going to go token equals, whoops, shift insert. Yep. And hit enter. It says 404 not found exit. And then that's because Meta doesn't have it yet. The local host does. And it also says not found. So it says get /u post. Oh, it's a post. What am I doing? I just undid all of that. This is it. I just had to hit enter. That's all I needed to do. Oh, there we go. Great success. Okay, so now we have an upload URL coming back. Now, like, that really should be returning localhost there. Because, like, I'm calling the API on localhost, so I need to fix that, but I'm not going to worry about it right now. That's the official. Meta has that now because it's a shared database between both dev and production. Again, I'm the only one working on this, so. And it isn't launched. Sorry, I hit the microphone. So now I have a spool to upload to this thing. So now I should be able, let me make sure this is a post. There's a get for it. Let's see here. Have we stubbed out the get? Yeah, there's the get. So I need to move this to here, right? Yeah. So one is to get the details, and then the other one is to get. Okay, so that should work. So if I do a curl HTTP localhost 8080 u slash this thing, control insert shift insert question mark token equals control insert shift insert. Then it says got an unexpected keyword argument spool name details spool name equals that. So this in Flask, you put the path match whatever. I don't know if it's probably not it's not regex, but path matching whatever template thingy. I don't know what this is called. Some like path variable thing. It's like taking what's after the U and putting it in a variable called spool name, and then you have to pass it in like that. That's how it's done, and so then that's the default equal sign. All right, so that should work now. Doesn't work. The view function did not return a valid result. Yeah. Okay. There's the okay. Great. Okay. So that one's done. So now we can do this one. Okay. So I've just sort of like stubbed them all out. I'll go back and finish them here in a little bit. We're an hour in. So we've got an hour left. That's good. Should be able to get a lot of this done. Doing a lot of coding today, you'll notice. A lot more than the other episodes where I talked a lot. Okay. My voice is getting hoarse. I've talked so much. Okay, so I just want to post to this thing, which means I need to run my test. This thing. Flask login is not defined. Upload line 47. There's Flask login. I think it's just current user in this context. I'm actually importing current user that way. Expected string got string property soup response. What did? It says line 51 in create spool. Here? What? So where am I? I'm doing test upload. Oh, this is the spool. I need the spool. I guess that was the whole point, is I needed the spool, huh? Okay, so what's the spool? That's a lot of stuff. Control insert. And that's the spool right there. Okay, and then we're going to run it again. So this is, wait a minute, let me make sure this is the right error, because I had to enter it over here again. Okay, yeah, so get by UID name is not defined. Well, that's because I didn't say. Spool. Sorry I'm yawning. It's nighttime. I haven't had any coffee in a while. Alright, let's try this again. Flask login is not defined. Line 91. Same problem. What? Oh yeah, this one. No current context. NDB calls must be made in context. That's correct. That's actually good news because that means it's working. Show it to me. So here's the spool. And that should be the same spool, right? So 7E5, right? Yeah, this one right here. So that's great. And then file name. So what's the error here? Name image bytes is not defined. Episode 6, all right. What's this one? I don't know, man. I don't know where it went. What does it say? Image bytes is not defined. Here. Well, yeah, of course image bytes is not defined. So image bytes let's go see what Miguel says. So he's saying file name equals upload file save file name validating contents. It's a stream. Here's complete app. Uploaded file stream. So I have request. I mean, it looks like this right there, right? Let's see if that works. I don't know, I'm suspect. Print, secure file name, uploaded file name. All right, let's try that. Should give the same error. I'm slouching again. What's going on here? Are we blocking? What's happening? There we go. Oop. Something happened. Indentation error. Sorry, I'm wiggling around a lot. Tired. Okay, well, you're getting close whenever you're. Actually, that's the token. Max retries exceeded with URL. What is this? No connection could be made because the target machine actually actively refused it. During handling the above exception, another exception occurred. Okay. An existing connection was forcibly... Okay, well, whatever. Wait, it's not running, for God's sakes. All that error from one little thing. Here we go. Image bytes is not defined. Well, that's good. Oh, look. There it is. Crazy hair. Well, that's good. That's good news. Okay, so that is actually getting the file name of the uploaded file. So I don't need to name it, right? Yep. So I can let the box name it, which is fine. And then we'll do that secure file name thing maybe on it or something like that. Maybe we'll rename the file name to something else. We can do that later. Okay, so this is going to be file name equals, so that will be the file name. Great. All right, and then image bytes. I'm suspect about this. It says upload file stream. Like that. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Unlikely. But maybe it will work. Huh. I don't know, it looks promising. What was the file name? Well, we know it's crazy hair. Alright, so we're going to go look for crazy hair in the files. And this should be config cloud storage bucket on dev but it's in here. This is where it goes. Sorting and filter. Oh, thank you, Google. You can now sort and filter objects and folders by any value. Thank you. Filter, sort and filter. Okay. Where's my file? Crazy hair. That's it. It worked. Where is it? There it is. But the thing is, I don't see it says type application octet stream. Where did it get that? I mean, it was an octet stream, right? So I need to change that to where it's not an octet stream instead of it downloading it. Because if you look at these other objects in here, whoops. Like if I look at this one, that's the same way. Create time, this one right here. Well, they all say application octet stream. I don't think that's right. That probably needs to be fixed. I don't know how to fix that. Let's see. I know it's an issue. I need to figure it out. But anyway, it's uploading it. So now, is this working? So let me look at this. So, yes, it's working. However, we're not updating Spool. So what we need to do here is we need to do Spool, like, I don't know, yeah, with client context. I think I have to do it with client context. So what do we have to do here? We have to this has been changed to updated, I think. Yeah, it's been changed to updated. This post should work, right? So if we do a post again, let's do this. That's to the /g, but let's do it to /u. And we don't need a URL. don't have to meta. Unknown protocol. HTTPS, of course. Got soup response. What expected a string? What am I calling here? I'm calling /u. I'm calling /u with the post. This thing right here. But it's fussing about so it should be running this guy. It's token and it's post. And I gave it HTTPS again. And what on earth is it doing? It says line 50 and create spool. How on earth can any of that be wrong? What is it saying? Expected string got string property soup response. Right here. I mean, what? It says 198 create file names. Well, that's going to be the bottom of this. Oh. Oh, it's looking for soup response. Okay. I think this is less than ideal having this in here. I just pulled out. Those don't need to be in there. I'll handle the error some other way. I wasn't even doing anything with them anyway. I need to handle that a different way. I'll address that later. I need to get rid of this. Alright, that should work. I wonder why that didn't break earlier. I thought I tested that. It's so strange. Time string is not defined. Upload 55. I swear I used this earlier. I don't even know. So weird. Okay, well, whatever. Maybe. Oh, I must have run it on G. I did, and then that created a spool. So I didn't run it on U, I ran it on G. So I thought I ran this code, but I didn't. Okay, so that's kind of like having two spool objects in my model. Okay, so so I need this other code. Where is it? This here. Timestamps. All right. Yep. Run it again. Make response is not defined. I mean, technically that should be called Spool. Not crawl. I don't have to rename it in here. At least they're simple stuff. Give me the object. Template not found. API spool JSON. What? Oh, I thought I renamed it. Oh yeah. Thanks, Sublime. What the fuck? New name. Okay. All right. The view find. Okay. What's it? The view function did not return a valid response. Yes. 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 Here. No. Yes. Here. All right. That's a good sign because you got down to the response. You should get the response. Yes. Okay. Good. And this is all of that stuff. That still needs to be fixed. Okay, so that was not fixed. Now it's fixed ish. Okay, so what I need to do here is I need to I need to look up the spool. I need to get the file name. File names. Because you could upload multiple file names. What I want to do is append the file names. So the problem is in NDB that those file names that's an array. And what am I saying here for the model? I'm saying it's a JSON property, so I need to file names, spool file names. Okay, so there's a file name. So I'm going to run this. Nope. Yep, got an unexpected keyword argument file names to upload 56. And Spool doesn't like that, right? Right. So you can't create it with a file name, but you could upload it with a file name. File names. Okay, so let me undo this. Save that. And then I'm going to go to here and I'm going to say with client context, I think, spool.file names equals print spool.file names, and then this equals that needs to be valid JSON. And that should quote it, right? Right. Confirmed. Okay. And then what I want to do, spool put. Yeah. Let's try that. I have a feeling that's not going to work. So let's test the upload. Can be overwritten. Well, that sucks. Let's see here. We gotta rename the file. Right, what's it doing? I thought I could. I thought I could click on it, whatever, doesn't matter. Okay, so that should work. No such file or directory, crazy here too. It's right there. Oh, I've got to copy it into the here. Well, let me think about this. Okay, because I've got a work to do because I can't upload. So once you upload to a bucket, you can't re-upload to it. I mean, I guess I could just say, I guess it actually doesn't matter. It should be putting that in the spool. But why isn't it? Why isn't it putting it in the spool? Is it in there now? So I told it to print spool file names. Oh, it was there. So this is from the last time, right? And then what I told it to do is I said spool file names equals file name. But in reality, what I need to say is I need to say file names equals spool file names. Then I need to say, no, wait, file names. And then I need to say file name. No, I need to say file names dot append file name. And then I need to say this spool file names equals file names. Yep, spool put. So if I try to upload it again, we'll see where is it running this. That'll be fine, because so the bucket should fuss at me, but it should stuff it in there, right? Connection aborted. Still blocking. Come on, in upload. And then if I scroll up, man, this is crazy here. It's going to still say crazy here. It's not going to have changed. No, it actually says in upload. Did I delete the print statement? I did. So it should have it in there a whole bunch now. Bam! There we go. So now we're updating all of the file names in there. So every time you upload to it, it'll put a new file name in there. Now I need to check. Let's see here. Check if we have this file name in the spool already. Yep. All right, let's check our time. Oh wow, we have 30 minutes left. I thought my time was up. Well, whatever. Okay. So, you know, I can't tell. It seems like somebody comes in and somebody leaves, somebody comes in. I think that's people coming in. I don't know. Maybe somebody watched me for 5 minutes or whatever. Current viewers. I mean, it's kind of cool if somebody did. Then I would know if somebody was in there. But it doesn't really matter. I don't care. I don't care if you're in here or not. I just care if you watch it later. It'd be kind of cool. It says, please check the video resolution. The current video, which is not optimal. Stream health is excellent. Okay. Whatever. Stream status is good. Good connection. Well, good for it. Okay. So now what? Well, we're going to take that out of there. So we need to implement. You know what we need to do is we need to take this part and we paste it in here. And I'm going to delete that. So that should give me all right, let's see what we've got done here. So we've got the upload. We've got this thing right here, which is creating the spool. That's not quite done. So this needs to be finished. So I'm going to finish this. All right. So this becomes. Let's see here. Well, I said check if the URL for this UID exists in spools. I'm supposed to do it on stream, so I'll finish up doing that. But then I'm going to do those here like this. And then I've got a thing that says if not, return this. It's down here. It's up here. What did I do with it? Where is it? Huh. Well, that's all I'm taking there, so. So this is description. And this is tags. And then, what do we got here? This is URL, right? So the URL, we can't pass the URL in to this because it's not crawl. This is title. So you can pass in token, title, description, and tags to upload, right? So title, description, tags. And then I'm going to delete all that. There is no URL. It says there's URL, but the URL needs to be the same as the URL is blank. I don't think there is a URL. I mean, it could be the same URL. Oh, it's /d. I'm not going to know what the spool name is here. All right. Well, so the whole idea here is like if you create a spool and it's not created from a URL, then if you want to go look at it, you need to be able to go look at the URL. So there needs to be a way to click on it and then go look at the collection of images that are in it. So it's all the file names, for example. So it's like it's sort of like it's a group of images or an album or whatever you want to call it, right? It's just a collection of images. A spool is a collection of images or document or files. So it could be like a PDF, maybe? I don't know. Could be a PDF. We don't support PDFs yet. Okay, so title, description, tags. I'm going to leave the URL blank. I'm just going to make it look like this. Like that. I guess it's okay if they're not in there because then it'll just be blank. So let's save that and see if that works. One interesting thing about this is as you're building out stuff like this, is that you end up with this way of being able to write a bunch of these curl statements, and those can be your tests. So if you think about it, like I'm writing unit tests for all of the APIs. Is one way to look at it. Okay, so this needs to be title equals trees. There's the title is trees. So then we put a description. I don't think it's really desirable to say none there, but I don't know where that's coming from, so we'll fix it here in a minute. Ampersand description equals trees are fun. Okay, that looks good. And then tags. I don't know about tags. Let's see here. This is not going to work. So tags equals roots and bark. And you can see there the tags. That's not what we want. So here, let's see. Loop through string with commas Python. Iterate through parts of a string. Yep, that's exactly what I need. There's the answer. Oh, really? So we need AST equals what? Foo bar this. We need to paste that in. Literal eval. I don't know, what's that? What does that even mean? Oh. I have a string in the form. That's not what I want. I could do split, I guess. So split on the comma, right? So I want to do a AST split comma. That's what I want. All right, so tags equals tags string split comma. That's it. All right. And then I need to put, do I want to put hashes on the tags? Don't think so. Is there any reason to make that where I do? Do I want? I don't think I do want to do that. I mean, I had it stubbed out that way. This is the way that I had it with the bark in there. I mean, it's pretty typical on Twitter to put that in there. So, should I put pound in front of that? I think I should. I want to put it in there. I'm going to put it in there. For tag in tags. Eh. What is that? Iterate? I don't remember. Something like that. Is there a better way to do this? Yeah, there is actually. Tags equals for tags for tag in, yes. Tags dot append. This is the way I do things. I mean, I used to be management, so now I'm programming, so it is what it is, people. Hey, if you're doing it solo, you gotta do it all. Okay. So now I have to check to see if the URL for this UID exists in spools, and we do have that function now, right? So that's this thing right here. So what if it does? I mean, why would it? We're creating a new one, right? So why do we need to check at all? If this is the post, this creates a new spool. I mean, it's creating a new spool. That's what we want, right? This is a new spool, create spool. I don't even have to say new because it is. So there's no way it's not. I don't even know why I was worried about that earlier. Okay, so whatever. Title, description, tag string, tags. Okay, we're gonna make sure the tag thing works. Okay, that works. There is no URL, although there should be a URL. It should be /d. Where do I handle that? Models? Okay, so then we want to do URL, if URL equals blat, then URL equals this. With the D there. not really remapping it. Yeah, that's right. Get rid of the comma. And then it's not URL, it's, yeah, it is URL. That's it. Perfect. And did I paste this in here where this is localhost? I didn't, did I? That looks good. Okay. No file names. And then the file name stuff, let me check the time here. Oh, where are we at? We've got 14 minutes. All right. And what else do I need to work on here? This is working, I believe. Is this done? Create spool is done. Spool info is not done, so I need to do that. So this is, get this one right here. Yeah, and then we just need to do these things right here. All right, let's see what happens when we run that. So that's the get function for the spool. So we're gonna do curl HTTP localhost 8080 / spool name. Control insert, shift insert. Oh, it's got to be U. And then token equals, and let's see if it tells us we need a good token. Yep, invalid token. That's great. And then we're gonna control insert. We're gonna put it up, and we're gonna shift insert. Nope. Shift insert. Well, that's weird. Okay, let's try this again. It hit enter. I don't know what was happening there. Yep. Control insert to copy. Hit up arrow and then shift insert. Okay, what is happening here? Paste. Still not working. Okay. Whatever. Copy. Paste. There we go. Time string's not defined. Copy. Could probably put that up at the top or something of the file, but whatever. We'll put it here. Timestamp everything. Okay. And there we go. That's great. Okay, that part's done. So now let's see if can we upload to it. I need to add in my, let's see, test upload file. Doge. Why is it capital PNG? PNG. All right. Delete that one. Test upload. Doge. Okay. Let's do it. And then what are we gonna, which one are we going for? This one right here? Let's change it out. Let's make it this one. This one. Go away. Go back here. Oh. Let's go here. Let's paste it in here. Yep. Now let's go back here. We're going to upload the Doge to. We're going to upload the Doge. Come on, baby. What? Where is that? 151. And upload 151. Did I cut? I must have cut it out of there. Did I cut it out of there? I don't remember. Okay. Okay, so we're going to look up the spool. We're going to get the file name. Yep. So that's a big to-do still, which is not going to happen on stream. Because I only got 10 minutes, 11 minutes, 10 minutes, less than like 9 minutes. Okay, that's it. I can't believe that I'm going to get this done. Yeah, that's fine. It says, it's interesting, it already knows, it knows that that file's been uploaded. So that's the reason we keep getting that error. So let me go in here to this, and let's take another one and rename this. We're going to name this to Doge2. And that's a JPEG file, which is fine. All right, and then we're going to go test upload. Whew, I'm tired. Okay, so Doge2, JPG. Now I still need to figure out the MIME type, but I'll do that tomorrow. Since I'm doing that, because it's that octet string crap. And this is that's not it. This is where we're doing it. Doge2. Okay. Now wait a minute. No, we need to. That's why I was doing that. We need to check. I get you. All right. Yeah. I hear you. Now go away. Thank you. Yeah, this is it. This is saying, okay, so there are the file names. I need to say if in file name. So let's create a new spool. That's the new spool. And then we want to say, I mean, what I really ought to do is do it down here, and I say if, I say down here, I'm in the wrong file. Down here, I want to say if it didn't take the upload. I'm going to leave all that down here because I've got some document handling stuff that I need to move out of there into the indexer. Into the index. We don't have an index.py file yet, but we will. So, because that's the next methods to implement is the index.py. There's a handful of stuff that needs to be cleaned up here with this. Oh, speaking of doges, there's a doge right there, barking on stream. I'm leaning toward, well, if I refuse, if the Google storage stuff is, if it's bombing and saying I already have this file, then at that point we could just not put it in the file, right? So what I want to do is I want to take this part out, and I want to put it down here. And then I want to do a try and then accept. And then at this point we already have the file. So then we kind of have the situation where it also could be the same file name. So What I'm going to do here is I'm going to say check if we have this file name. So file names equals spool file names. If file name in file names raise the exception. Now, I honestly think that the Google bucket stuff would probably do that anyway, but that's the exception. So let's see if that works. Now I need to test that somehow by calling two things the same thing. Okay, and I need to put that in the test upload file. I need to make this a little bit more flexible. Paste. And doesn't it have that file now? It does, I think. Let's see if it works. No such file, Doge2. What? Where's my file? It says Doge2. .jpg. Is it like that? Oh, it's in the wrong place. Well, at least when we know we didn't upload it. We're almost done. What's going on? That worked. Okay, now we're going to ask for it. Shift insert, hopefully. Shift insert, yes. Bam! Okay, now we need to what? Well, we'll try it again. It should fail nicely. Yeah. Huh, interesting. Well, it's definitely an error, but let's ask for it and see if it should not have put another one in there. It didn't, so that's good enough. I'll fix the rest of that later. I think that's it for the stream. Yeah, I could finish up now. I'm going to finish up right at 2 hours because I'm tired. So today we pretty much did everything we promised we were going to do. I promised I was going to do. It's we, if you're here. Now there were a few people here, so for those people that came in, I don't know who you are. Sorry I didn't talk to you. Be sure and say something next time. Love to hear from you. You know, if you don't want to stick around, there's a lot of people in the world. You know, you're just browsing around. I wonder what this guy is doing. Probably come in and is like, what's this old hippie doing? He's writing Python. Well, I'm writing Python and we're creating a website called Meta, which is this site where you have Search Sidekick. So you sign up, you pay $8 a month. It's paid yearly, so you pay me like $100. You get 3 Solr indexes with full text search and machine learning. And you're able to upload web pages, images, whatever, free text. And then I've got this slick little UI, which we didn't demo today, but you can watch some previous videos on it. And yeah, so what we ended up doing is implementing the rest of the upload functions, which is being able to post an upload. So create an upload spool. So that's create a target for the upload. We made it to where you could get the result from the upload. And then we made it to where you could post images to the spool. The only thing we didn't do is this last part where it will allow you to fetch the images, and I'll finish up on that. And probably ought to do a delete spool as well. So maybe I'm going to put that in here. What about a delete spool? Just in case we need to delete the spool, which probably be somewhat useful. Oh, I actually have it right here. Oh no, that's the configuration setting. Brain fart. Okay, yeah, that's it. So if you like the video, be sure and like, subscribe, and click on the notification. It's standard stuff. I don't even know why I'm bothering. I really don't expect a lot of people to come in here and follow this. It's a way for me to be able to talk out loud and then watch myself later. I don't have to upload it. It's already uploaded. And it's laid down so that when I start hiring people to come in and work on this, I can just send them and say, go watch my stream. So if that is you and you're watching this and I've forgotten I've said this by now, you can come tell me, hey, I just saw you say it was for me and that was really cool, or that sucks that you're making me watch all these. I don't want to watch them. One or the other. So anyway, yeah, this is a startup. I've done startups before, and we're doing another one, and this one's going to be awesome. And I've been thinking about this for a long time, and I'm making it a reality, and part of it is YouTube being able to make it a reality by me being able to stream it out. So I very much appreciate you being here. I hope you have a fantastic evening. I'm going to go chill and watch some other YouTube right now once I find my OBS studio and stop streaming.